Think about the biggest mistake you've ever made. Maybe it was a fender bender in a parking lot that cost a few $100s to fix. Maybe you accidentally hit reply all on an email that was meant for just one person, leading to an incredibly awkward afternoon. We've all had those moments that make our stomachs drop. They feel like the end of the world for a day or two, but then life goes on. But what if a mistake didn't just ruin your day? What if it could vaporize a fortune large enough to fund a small country? What if a single bad decision could topple a corporate giant that once seemed invincible? We're not talking about small, everyday errors in judgment. We're talking about blunders of such epic, world-altering proportions that they become legends in business history. In fact, we know of one instance where a single coding error wiped out over $400 million in less time than it takes to watch an episode of your favorite show. These aren't just mistakes, they're financial catastrophes. Today we're counting down the absolute biggest mistakes that cost billions. Let's start with a story that's almost painfully easy to imagine. The year is 2013. A computer engineer named James Howells is cleaning his office. Like many of us who work with tech, he has a drawer full of old, obsolete hardware, cables for devices we no longer own, old keyboards, and of course a collection of retired hard drives. During this routine cleanup, he grabs a hard drive he hasn't used in years and tosses it in the trash. It's a mindless act, something anyone could do. The problem? That discarded piece of metal and plastic contained the private keys to 8,000 Bitcoin. At that exact moment in 2013, it was a painful loss, but perhaps not a life-shattering one. But as the years went by and the value of Bitcoin skyrocketed into the stratosphere, the true scale of this mistake became horrifyingly clear. That hard drive, once a piece of worthless junk, became a digital treasure chest worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It's now buried somewhere under tons and tons of compacted garbage in a landfill. A modern-day pirate's treasure that can never be recovered. An unimaginable fortune lost forever because of one simple, irreversible mistake. But as gut-wrenching as a personal loss like that is, what happens when a mistake unfolds not over years, but in minutes, at the heart of the financial world? Let's go back to 2012 to the trading floors of Knight Capital, a major player in the stock market. On what should have been a normal morning, a new piece of trading software was rolled out. Deep within its code, however, lay a glitch, a digital time bomb waiting to go off. When the market opened, that bomb detonated. The faulty software unleashed a digital tsunami of unintended bogus trades onto the New York Stock Exchange. The system began buying and selling stocks at a furious, uncontrollable pace. For 45 agonizing minutes, employees watched in horror as their systems went rogue, executing millions of trades they never authorized. Before the second cup of coffee on their desks had even cooled, the damage was done. The firm had lost an astronomical $440 million. A pillar of the financial industry was brought to its knees in less than an hour, not by a market crash or a clever rival, but by its own technology. The mistake was so catastrophic that it effectively wiped the company out, forcing it into a desperate merger to survive. The first two mistakes were sudden shocks, a discarded hard drive and a software glitch. But some of the biggest financial blunders aren't sudden accidents. They are slow, deliberate strategic errors that unfold over years. And when it comes to strategic errors, it's hard to top the tragic fall from grace of Nokia. For those who remember the late 1990s and early 2000s, Nokia wasn't just a company, it was the phone company. They were the undisputed kings of the mobile world. Their phones were iconic, famously indestructible, and in the pockets of hundreds of millions of people worldwide. They dominated the market with an iron grip. But then, the entire landscape shifted from under their feet. The arrival of the iPhone, followed closely by a wave of Android devices, completely changed what a phone was supposed to be. The game was no longer about making calls and sending texts. It was about apps, ecosystems, and the internet in your pocket. Nokia, the reigning monarch, suddenly looked slow and out of touch. Faced with this existential threat, they needed to make a move. They needed to adapt or die. And so, they made a massive, company-defining bet. Instead of joining the burgeoning Android ecosystem, they aligned themselves exclusively with Microsoft's new Windows Phone platform. It was a monumental gamble. Nokia staked its entire future on the belief that a third ecosystem could compete with the duopoly of Apple and Google. That gamble, as we now know, didn't pay off. Despite producing excellent hardware, the Windows Phone platform struggled to attract users and, crucially, app developers. The ecosystem just never took off. As Nokia's market share and finances crumbled, Microsoft stepped in. In what seemed like a final dramatic move to save the brand they had partnered with, Microsoft bought Nokia's entire phone business for $7.2 billion. But the story doesn't end there. The acquisition failed to turn the tide. Just 1 year later, in a stunning admission of failure, Microsoft announced it was writing off the entire Nokia acquisition, booking a staggering $7.6 billion loss. They lost more money on the deal than the original purchase price. It was the final, bitter postscript on the downfall of a titan, a multi-billion-dollar tombstone for a company that once ruled the world. So, there you have it. A lost hard drive that buried a fortune in a landfill, a software glitch that erased a company in 45 minutes, and a strategic gamble that brought a global giant to its knees. From a single person's tragic oversight to a boardroom's failed vision, these stories show just how quickly and spectacularly a fortune can be unmade. Each is a cautionary tale written on a scale most of us can barely comprehend. But we want to know what you think. Which of these blunders do you believe was the absolute worst? Was it the personal agony of the lost Bitcoin, the lightning-fast implosion of Knight Capital, or the slow strategic decline of Nokia? Let us know your verdict in the comments below. And if you want to hear more stories of unbelievable financial foul-ups, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell.